Soulful, inspiration, soulful, inspiration, a little education, soulful, inspiration, soulful, inspiration, a little education, you know. Uninspired and tired is a bad combination, and I'm sad to say that's a dark situation, but I'm thinking of you, so I'm glad to say I wrote a letter on behalf of how I feel today. 7 a.m. in the morning, ain't been to sleep. It's been a night type long and a rough type week. I'm meditating my life on the whole, pondering the where, when, how, ifs I can gain control. It's like a spin of the wheel or a roll of the die. They say that you can be a winner at the game of life, but I know the house don't play to lose, so you better know the math, how to make the move. See, I'm a student of the study, how to proper pursue a blunt portion of the profits produced, paying my dues. So I follow the lolly and avoid the fools. But this is trial by fire, so you must stay cool. One rule, envy is a powerful tool. Spy and spine all times, everything you do. That way, when the idiot's ear get act cool, you can crack those crabs and continue to move. You know, 7 a.m. in the morning, I'm open up. Long night, ain't been to sleep. I grab my pencil and pad, I'm open. I hope you feel it. Remember back to the slenderest times when we pinched for the pretty penny nickel a dime. Before the world seemed crooked and the gutter was fine. When there was good hood living and a peace of mind. Now that's over. Life will make a grown man sober, head aching, hanging over, feeling funny inside. We never knew the world worked on a bogus design to keep a brother buried deep, broken down and blind. Better still, man, it's ill when you look to find there's a chance to advance, most heads deny. A dream and a slice of the proverbial pie. We will remain to reside in the ghetto of pride. Ignorance is pure bliss and these days provide plenty of it to keep a poor man pacified. I try to put him on the business of knowledge applied, but that's a pickle of a deal that's sour inside. But 7 a.m. in the morning, I'm open up. Long night, ain't been to sleep. I grab my pencil and pad, I'm open. I hope you feeling it, man. So many guys that I grew with died, resorted to doing crime and turned doing the time. I can hardly better speak to childhood friends and find every exchange features a fella falling the wayside, that's ill. But then it keeps a brother on bill mode, mentally locked and loaded, ready to deal with any form of friction you can fathom to feel. In a world that wheels drama and fires at will, it bust from dawn to dusk and aim to kill. Cause a lot of souls shook and afraid for real. So instead turn their head, tuck tail and chill, in the hopes not to cope, but that's whack. See, you and I are like a different breed, and we bring to the balance such a desperate need. The eagerness to elevate and evolve the scene. A better space, a better time indeed. Sincerely.
Of a courageous explorer, a man dedicated to the pursuit of man's knowledge and the expansion of his horizons.
Good morning. Here is Nathan Ivey.
Good morning. Welcome back. My name is Nathan Ivey. And if you can hear my voice, I really appreciate you. Welcome back to the Nathan Ivey Show, your morning destination for interesting conversation, superlative flows on people, politics, and pleasure. Welcome, good morning, welcome back to the show all. I really appreciate you. I will get to the bottom of this. Had a few difficulties this morning, but listen, we're together now. I want to focus on the positives. Thank you for your time. And let's get back into it. Numerous things are percolating within the last 24 hours. I want to give you a heads up. Now, I'll be leaving for the RNC convention over the weekend. My plan is to broadcast live Monday morning from the convention if I'm able to get access, which I believe I will be able to. And then come to you throughout the day. I'll give you more details about the exact time other than the 7 a.m. time frame when you can listen to the show later in this program. Good morning, welcome back. Currently 7:14 a.m. in the Queen City. Great to be with you. All eyes are watching Ohio. All eyes are on Ohio as we get ready for the weekend before the Republican National Convention. Donald Trump has chosen a running mate, and guess what? He's from the Midwest. That's right. I'll give you more details in just a couple of minutes. Good morning, team, and I appreciate you. Welcome back. Also, last night, were you over at New Prospect Baptist Church? They had a meeting that was convened. I know the Inquirer was involved with it. Of course, the good folks at New Prospect Baptist Church, they were involved. Of course, it was their location. I was not in attendance yesterday. From what I'm reading, early this morning, there were hundreds of people there. They were talking about community police relations. I will do my best to be at these meetings moving forward, but this is a very, very busy time for me. And as much as I would have liked to have been there, I just wasn't able to. Also, I understand that the police chief there, Chief Isaac, along with the city, the mayor of the city. So that's got to be a little unnerving. Here you are from the public. You're the police chief. People have got questions for you. Police Chief Isaacs, who seems like a very nice man. I've met him very many times, a few times, should I say. And he always says nice things about the show and myself. Seems like a nice man. And he's under the fire. He's under fire, as are all police chiefs, and as they should be, quite honestly, at a time like this. And I don't know if things got chippy, but there was some back and forth. I mean, I don't really know Damon Lynch like that, Pastor Damon Lynch, but from what I know of him, he's not the kind of man to back away from how he feels. He can articulate his viewpoint. He's got some backbone. And it was also, I'm reading that the mayor made mention that he wants to reconvene the parties responsible for the collaborative. In his initial comments, Mayor John Cranley announced that he plans to reconvene the parties responsible for putting together the 2002 collaborative agreement. Now, what does that mean exactly? I went back and looked at it early this morning and looked at who signed off on it. There was a couple names. You had Attorney Kenneth Lawson, who has since left the region amid scandal, some might say, and some other issues. You had Al Gerharstein. Of course, you had the collective membership of Buff. We're Buff. We're going to pump you up. That was my little joke with Buff, Black United Front, for many years ago. And some appreciate it, some of them didn't. But when the mayor says he wants to reconvene, who is he talking about? Because some of them folks, man, I respect them, but And while I believe that there are some folks who are involved with that process who have an understanding of what's going on today, because what's going on today is a little bit different than what was happening years ago. It's the same, but it's different. And I don't know, some of those folks from the Black United Fronts, no, sir. No. I'm not sure they should be in leadership positions today. That's just my personal opinion. And they may not like it, but I don't give a damn. I keep it real. And we're going to pump your collaborative up with both Black United Front. That's hilarious. Chair Muir writes, Donald Trump has indicated to Indiana Governor Mike Pence that he is moving toward choosing the Indiana governor as his vice presidential nominee. Shaking my head. That's right. That's right. Good morning, Karamia. And if you don't know anything about Mr. Mike Pence, then just know this. I'm not saying I know a lot about this guy. Just what I've read in the last 24 hours is that he appears to be, at least on paper, to be the type of man who may be able to unite some of those fundamental forces inside the Republican Party. And maybe that's the reason why Donald Trump chose him. He came out of nowhere. I mean, with Donald Trump, you didn't know who he was going to choose. It could have been Omarosa. It could have been Wendy Williams, David Duke, Bernie. Who knows? Bugs Bunny. We have no idea with a cartoon character like Donald Trump. We've never been here before. Mike Jones says D.L. Hughley let Fox News have it. Yes, he did. I'm not the biggest fan of D.L. Hughley. Number one, because I got a chance to interview him many years ago, and he tried to cap on me in the hallway when we left the studio. And I wasn't the biggest D.L. Hughley fan. I mean, come on. Of all the kings of comedy, come on. And I ain't hating on the brother, but after that, hell no. But I did watch the video, and I will give D.L. Hughley props for trying to set the record straight. He went on the Megyn Kelly show, and think about this. They brought D.L. Hughley and introduced him to the show right after she finished talking to Mark Furman. And Mark Furman was on the Megyn Kelly show with a straight face talking about how he feels like other people are lying. What? This man is an internationally known liar. That's all he's known for. Mark Foreman is known, in the circles in which there's sane and rational people. Okay, he's got a lot of fans out there because of Fox News. They really support this guy. But have they forgotten the fact that this man basically lied on the witness stand and then had to take the Fifth Amendment afterward? I've never seen anything like that before in my life. That was straight out of Perry Mason. But it was only real life. It was real life. Good morning to you. Welcome back. So the mayor says he wants to reconvene the forces that were a part of the collaborative. And I understand it. I mean, some of them have expertise. There's some people that come to mind, especially who I believe have always been out there front and center in the city of Cincinnati, trying to raise awareness about the collaborative, trying to fight for the collaborative, trying to make sure that the collaborative isn't forgotten. There was an article in the Inquirer within the last 2 weeks in which they were asking the question, who's been keeping the safeguarding the collaborative? And we know that there's only a handful of folks in the city of Cincinnati who over the last 15 years have continued to be in that position, have continued to, go to the media, go to events, get in front of the cameras, talk to the people with the microphones, and support the collaborative agreement. I also think that there is a new generation of young leadership that needs to be a part of that process. Because things are a little bit different than they were in 2002, in 2001, okay? During the riots, after the riots, during that time with Timothy Thomas, things done changed. And the last thing we need is some of these old school we're going to pump you up members coming in with these attitudes and making the situation more difficult than it needs to be. And I've gotten heat because I walk these streets. I'm out in Cincinnati all the time. I don't give a damn. And so I had to deal with this, but there it is. That's how I feel about it. Good morning to you. Welcome back. Tonika's in first. How you doing, Tonika? She writes, good morning, team and I. Hey, Ed, how you doing, sir? Good morning, Ed. And rounded out the top three, Mike Jones. How you doing, Mike? Glad to see you, folks. Thank you very much for finding me. I know we had a little bit of difficulty this morning. Oh, this week. Man. But I will get it together. I will contact my friends over at Spreaker and relay what is happening. Perhaps it is something that other people are experiencing, or we'll find out. We'll find out. Good morning and welcome back. Just yesterday, we were talking about the fact that Wendy Williams was going to have a special guest on her show. And that special guest was Roland Martin. Now, Roland is getting mass props for roasting Wendy Williams and setting the record straight because she was criticizing HBCUs, historically black colleges and universities. What kind of black person would ever have a problem with an HBCU? And she offered Roland to come onto her show basically to educate her. And that's exactly what he attempted to do. I thought it was an interesting exchange. It's very rare when you see a daytime television personality, whether it's television or radio, offer such up a mea culpa. I mean, there was a part of me that wanted her to argue with Roland just because. This man come on your show and upstage you in school. What the hell with all of that, man? But she did not. I mean, basically she sat there while Roland sort of went down like a history and talked about his point. And then they called it education and then rolled out. It was quite uneventful, actually. I was a little bit disappointed. Where is the Wendy that's so feisty? What happened to her? Or maybe she realized that it was over before it started. Sun Tzu, right? Maybe she's reading The Art of War. Don't try to fight a battle that you know that you cannot win. And she said, nah, I'm done with this. I ain't going out like that. Starting next week on Monday, Hillary Clinton is going to be in Cincinnati. All eyes are on Ohio. So Hillary Clinton's in Cincinnati for the NAACP convention, which we got to talk about the politics of that. This will be the second time within the last 10 years that the NAACP has brought their national convention to Cincinnati. But what does that really mean? What does that really mean? What is the real impact? Good morning. I would like for you to tell me. There's a lot of things going on. There's going to be concerts. There's going to be free concerts in downtown Cincinnati during the NAACP conferences. Dougie Fresh, Talib Kweli, Natural Progression, local group. Shout out to the good